It's time to know what's on the front page of the Nigerian newspapers. And with me in the studio is lawyer and social development advocate Jide Ologun, as well as social commentator Smart Akpejoye. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Welcome.
All right, we head straight to the papers now, and I begin with the blueprint. Outrage over Kankara abduction. Presidency not an award. Let's stop grandstanding. Senate. Right, we move to the front page of the blueprint now. Leadership newspaper, Sam Nda Isaiah, Senate honors media mogul observes 1 minute silence at a plenary. Katsina attack, abducted school children are in Zamfara forest, Masari. On the front page of the Vanguard now, pay ransom, free our children from bandits. Parents beg federal government. 17 students found, says Masari. More students appearing from bushes. Masari aid. We thought the bandits were policemen, escapee. Boko Haram claims responsibility for Kankara school kidnapping. Teachers threaten to shut down schools. Zamfara shuts boarding school. And then we'll move to the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Banks sack 7,957 in 9 months. Human capital crisis looms. 42% of contract staff make payroll. Operators grappling with skill inadequacy. Planned competence test not triggered by noticeable gap. CBN. From our record, only one bank retrenched, says NUBIFIE. All right, to the front page of the Business Day. Nigeria slummers as peers step up hunt for private capital. And to the front page of the Daily Sun now. Why we abducted students of Kankara by Shekau. Reps charge federal government to rescue them. APC government insensitive. The PDP reacting there. UK flays kidnap. NUT threatens strike over poor security. To the front page of the News Direct, Reps suspend 774,000 special public jobs. Blast Kiamu states selection committees for bypassing NDE. Call for reinstatement of sacked NDE boss. Demand for NDE list of beneficiaries. Then we move now to the front page of the Nation newspaper. 17 pupils returned from forest as ACF knocks federal government. That's the Iowa Consultative Forum reacting. Parents seek safe return of boys. Governor raises hope of rescue. And to the front page of the national economy. Federal government will block SIM cards without NIN registration. We'll be looking at that story shortly. And we move now to the front page of the Punch newspaper. Mass abduction. Student recount near-death experience before escape. Abducted schoolboys divided into batches. Boko Haram claims responsibility. Bandits assisted me to escape. JSS student. Zamfara shuts boarding schools. Iowa Consultative Forum decries federal government's lamentations. Says Nigeria not secure under Buhari. To the front page of the Daily Trust now. Katsina abduction. Shekau may ask for prisoner swap ransom. Experts. Don't let the boys be turned terrorists. Federal government military silent of Boko Haram claim. Mixed reactions in Kankara. 10 schools closed in Zamfara. Education under siege. Amnesty ACF reps react. And finally, on the front page of the Daily Times, COVID-19 border closure, others jack up inflation in Nigeria. All right, gentlemen, let's look at the front page of the national economy now, talking about federal government to block SIM cards without the NIN registration. And just some weeks ago, we had that the NCC was trying to do an audit. And so it asked that there shouldn't be any form of registration. And this is coming up now, saying given 2 weeks for Nigerians who haven't registered or synchronized their NIN registration with their SIM card to do so, or else they risk their SIM cards being blocked. I'll start with you, Jide Ologun.
The NIN registration is a database for the government, so it's quite useful and it has a global engagement. But having said that, the next question is, how many Nigerians have been effectively registered? Because I can tell you, it took some about 2 years to get registered. So for those who have not registered, I don't know how they're going. The camel is going to get through the eye of the needle. So we need to synchronize our processes. If this is a requirement, make it easy for people to engage. And I may be challenging the system this morning again with a practical visitation. Go to the office of the National Identity Management in Alausa in Ikeja and check the infrastructural base. So we need to get serious. I think in Rwanda, you may register a company, open a bank account, get your tax, whatever, within 48 hours. But it's not the same. Even to register an NGO in Nigeria now, to get the consent before you even apply for the availability of the name approval, it will take you about 2 months. So that is the issue, except, and this comes under perception management in public relations, it is just for the government to make money.
Really?
Is it because, yes, because right now, if the telecoms provider, if they comply, and that's another issue, that means if you have your line blocked, you must now rush to go and register if you have not registered.
Yes.
At what cost? You see, so
it's not out there yet. It's not clear.
In the civilized society, on a consistent basis, the government focuses on simplifying the processes. But the reverse is the case here. So good intentions, but please don't frustrate the people.
Okay, and that is where I will take it from, for SMART to react to good intentions, but don't frustrate the people. That is what he's saying.
Yes, let me take it from where Jide have just talked. It is frustrating getting registered with the names, or what they call themselves. Sometime when they talked about that they were going to use that you cannot write JAMB without having being registered with the National Identification Card, I did a survey. You see, virtually, go to some of the banks that, like Zenith Bank was registering some, had a center in Ikorodu. Prospective JAMB candidates go to sleep in the premises.
Wow.
They have a center in Laspotek. If you see the place, it's more chaotic than a marketplace. Now, there are some places in some schools, when you get there, even when you get there by 2 a.m., the queue is over 2,000, and they will tell you they cannot register more than 200 in a day. So where do we go from here?
And we have just 2 weeks now.
And now where do we go from here? How many Nigerians are genuinely registered with the names? There are so many, even in those that have registered, that they have some problem, like maybe in a date of birth or sex. Like there is a woman that
Data
registered.
Issues, yes.
Yes. Now for her to even correct it, it's taking the whole year. So you can't just wake up and say, you must do this within this time, if not, we will block you. It is not done like that. You set up a time frame, and when you are setting up a time frame, you create a seamless process where people can just walk in and register.
But the time frame is 2 weeks.
The time frame is just 2 weeks, and it is coming at 2 weeks where even it's a festive period, it's going to creep in. How do you get all Nigerians registered? What is the population of Nigeria? Even the phone users, and how many people have really registered? The people in the villages, in some towns that have not even seen them around, you can't. You see, it's not a reality setting up 2 weeks. What they should do is that, yes, they want to synchronize, and again, this perhaps will also make me to talk about, we have too many multiple identity. We have the bank, we have the BVN. Why can't they just synchronize everything? That if you have your BVN, it is the same thing as your driver's license, it is the same thing as your passport number, it is the same thing as your NIMS. Why do you have to have a NIMS number? You have a driver's license, a passport number, almost about 4 or 5 different numbers. Does this make sense? Look, if you are doing anything, you probably do benchmarking. If you are benchmarking Nigeria, say with advanced country, the moment you have your social security number, that is what you have. And anywhere they just type in your social security number, comes with all your details, including your DNA. So if we want to emulate, why don't we just emulate something and do it proper? Why would you just wake up? Somebody would just wake up one day and just say, it could even be the DG of Civil Defense, and just say, if you don't have this, you will not move. I mean, they should stop threatening Nigerians. I am not in support of it.
Threatening?
Within the time frame that they are given. But let them set up a seamless process.
To make it easy for Nigerians to synchronize their SIM cards with the NIN registration and perhaps extend it for those who haven't even registered. But then again, there is the concern of the fact that we are in a second wave, and we know how it is when you talk about registration. Everybody wanting to come out to register. We have just 2 weeks. We need to do everything that is needed to be done to ensure that our numbers are not blocked at this time. Do you have concerns with regards to that aspect?
If I understand Nigeria very well, and I think I do, you may be prepared for massive disobedience to this directive. Not just on the side of the customers, but the business stakeholders also. Because you must have considered the implications of this directive on the business. Even with, I don't want to focus on the issue of 2 weeks. That is ridiculous. Now, the report we are having is that the inflation rate in Nigeria is rising because of border closure. So who advised on the line border closure?
In the first place.
We need to be proactive. We need to be progressive. And we need to look out of the window and operate globally. How are these things done there? Like you said, let's go to now to renew your international passport or even apply. You need this NIN number. To even renew your passport at 70,000 naira. A country that is struggling to pay 30,000 naira minimum wage. You see, so we need to sit down as a government and ask a simple question. Should life be getting more complicated or getting more simplified? And let me advise, the simpler the business processes, the more gains you make. For example, if it is easy for Nigerians to register, we have 200 million, at least. I mean, I think we are projecting about 206 million now.
Yes.
Let's even assume you are collecting 3,000 naira from them to register, and this registration is easy. In fact, they can even go to the telecoms providers and in their office set up a portal and get registered and paid into the government coffers. How much will you be making? It's unfortunate that some people just gang up in this country, so I suspect, and make money from the citizens. And despite the money they are making, they make life difficult. How easy is it to clear your vehicles at the port? That is even if the vehicle has not been vandalized. We need to re-engineer this country and become progressive.
All right.
If not, the prosperity we should be benefiting from may be far away from us.
All right, let's move now to the front page of the story on the front page of the Daily Trust now, talking about the Katsina abduction, where over 300 boys were abducted, and just yesterday, reports coming out said that Boko Haram claimed responsibility for the kidnap or the abduction of the boys. And now experts are saying that Shekau may ask for a prisoner swap and ransom. I wonder what you see with regards to this.
Well, it's unfortunate again that here we are in a single swipe, over 300 boys were kidnapped in a country that have all the paraphernalia of security, that overnight, that just in a single swipe, that they will just come and kidnap 3, I think, and by now, S have not ruled. It's unfortunate. My heart goes to some of these boys that are there going through hardship now, to their parents that are going through trauma. On the issue of Shekarau, he had come out to say, yes, these boys are with us. The governor have said, yes, these boys, they are in one of the forests in Zamfara. Whatever it should take to get these boys out, let Nigerians get these guys out, for goodness sake, if not for anything, for the sake of their parents.
Even if it is prisoner swap, even if it is ransom?
In the first place, look, prisoner swap, in the first place, is a global practice. You will see that sometimes they will just say, look, okay, we are swiping. America has done it several times. Advanced countries have done it several times. They will swipe some prisoners just to get them. Then they will go back and strategize and see how they could get those people back and fortify their soldiers so that they won't probably have to negotiate. But if it has come to this, for goodness sake, And to save us from that global embarrassment, let Nigeria go into this and get these boys out. I mean, as it concerns this, if they have to swipe some prisoners, and of course, even if they don't swipe them now, they have been radicalizing them and push them back into the society. If they are still going to do the same thing, why not give them and let's have these boys back? It's a different thing that you have your child, that all of a sudden you just hear a news that, oh, this child is dead, maybe because of accident or whatever, than to get that child kidnapped, and yet you are hoping upon hope, like Leah Shaibu, that nobody is even talking about again, like the girl still in the custody of the Boko Haram, that we don't even know their status now. If we have to act fast and get all these boys back safe, let us do it. Because I'm sure those boys, they are not used to that hardship. They will start falling sick, and before you know, some of them will start dying off.
Right. I wonder if you share the same sentiment, because for a cross-section of Nigerians, asking to pay ransom is like funding terrorism, and saying a prisoner swap is not really tackling the issues. That is for a cross-section of Nigerians. I wonder what your reaction is.
Firstly, I align with the brilliant submission, but I want to go into what I call foundational issues, which will help us to resolve this crisis. How did Boko Haram start? In 2002, somebody set up an institution to attract the poor, claiming that Western education is corruption. So, war against Western education, and that was termed as insurgency. And the Muhammad Yusuf was killed along the line in 2009. The whole thing exploded. And I have said it, it's on record. Because if you don't identify where to focus on, you'll be dealing with the symptoms. This may have regional implications. In 2013, reportedly on Liberty Radio, the present president of Nigeria and commander-in-chief expressed a concern that clampdown on Boko Haram is injustice to the north, making allusion to the amnesty in the Niger Delta region. And here we are now. Recall that in April 2014 or thereabout, about 270 girls were kidnapped from Chibok. That was before this regime even came in. And this Shekau had been killed several times. You see, in 2018, over 100 girls were kidnapped from Dapchi in Yobe. Some people just got slaughtered, some farmers in Borno State. Now over 300. But Shehu Gaba is claiming there are about 10. I don't want to join issues on that. The big question now is, if you look at the mode of operation, they came with motorbikes. So Nigeria has descended so low that that population of students will be kidnapped with motorbikes. Let's put that aside. Now, let's go into what we call monitoring trends and predicting their consequences. If Boko Haram started to fight education, they are succeeding. Because education is almost paralyzed in Nigeria now. And that is why I'm not surprised that this government may not be passionate about ensuring that university students return to school. But great Nigerians, let me ask you a question. How many of their children are in Nigerian schools? I'm impressed that the northern elders, the kings, that they are talking. It goes beyond talking. Education is paralyzed in that region. And when you now begin to groom even those who have been educated, you are conscripting them into ignorance and poverty, radicalizing them. I was in Abuja yesterday, and I was looking at the beauty of this country and how God has blessed us. And I asked a simple question. Who have we offended? Right. You see, so right now we have economic recession, we have education regression, we have social degradation. So where are we going? I believe there are deeper things. In the days of the Dapchi girls kidnapping, the drama was so embarrassing. The military claimed to have, they also report that the military withdrew through. They were kidnapped. When they were being brought back, the same process, it was like a fun fair. And some of us keep wondering, what exactly is going on? I mean, insurgency means you are fighting a cause. What is the cause in fighting to institutionalize poverty? Again, one of the visions of Boko Haram is to establish, an Islamic caliphate. But I know that Islam is a religion of peace. So this has gone beyond peace now. Muslim clerics have been killed, mosques have been bombed and everything. But having said that, let's go back to the government structure. I think the National Assembly can help us here. And please, I'm advising them and wonderful Nigerians who love this country. I keep amplifying what we have in Section 14, subsection 2 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, that says that the security and the welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. So if the kings can no longer sleep with their eyes closed, some of them are killed, if students are kidnapped, if we have poverty, there's a report now that those trying to get Christmas palliatives stampeded themselves to death. Something must happen in this country. And
all right.
It's quite confusing. But I've led us to some of the things we may identify. And let me just round up with this parable that when you entrust your rat to a cat, you may be in a deeper trouble. And I think those who have discerning minds will interpret that.
All right.
And I pray that the sun will rise over Nigeria, that we go beyond all these embarrassing traumas.
Amen.
Very soon.
All right, we have to leave the conversation at this point. Lawyer and social development advocate Jide Ologun, social commentator Smart Akwejiri. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time on the newspaper review this morning.